Hey friends, this is the Old Marine on December 2nd, 2013. I'm going to do a narration of BP's audio here, or his video, Jesse. His voice is non-functioning at the moment, and I thought I'd give it a wing at trying to do a narration of what he's trying to say here. So here we go, friends. We'll start the video up. It's going to bring us into Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay. Remember, Monterey Bay. Here we go. Okay, this event happened on Thanksgiving on 2013. It says here, "It's never been like this," she said. "This is a phenomena." "Do these whales make her feel very small?" "Oh, absolutely," she said, "absolutely." "There are also dolphins and hundreds of sea lions. They are chasing an unexplained explosion of anchovies in the bay. Killer whales showed up to hunt the sea lions. Tourists and scientists have never seen anything quite like it. There's easily over 100 to 200 whales in the Montreal Bay," said Nancy Black, a marine biologist and a captain of a whale watching boat. So this is like, so exceptional, we can't even believe it, is her response. Let's move on. Okay, now that happened Thanksgiving in Montreal Bay, 2013. That was this year, just the other day. 100 to 200 whales in the Bay Area. Okay? Now, let's move on to this next part of this. He's leaving a moment here so you can read it, which I already have. But he's pointing out the explosion of anchovies. Okay, now this is an event that happened in 2011 headlines. Earthquakes like the ones that struck the Christchurch, New Zealand yesterday rank among the most devastating natural disasters capable of leveling cities and causing extensive loss of life, largely because they are so unpredictable. On Sunday, however, less than 48 hours before the quake, 107 pilot whales beached themselves and died along the nation's shores, a phenomenon that biologists have yet to fully understand. The proximity of the two events in both time and location has sent the web into a frenzy over whether they are related, and whether stranding can provide precious foresight before disaster strikes. It is important to note that biologists believe whales and dolphins beach themselves for a variety of reasons, like failing health and navigation errors, though no definite correlation has been drawn thus far. This late incident of mass stranding prior to an earthquake, however, is not without precedent. Okay, and that was in 2011 headlines during the big earthquake there in New Zealand, friends. So what we're doing here is we're forming a correlation between events. See, however, it is not without precedent. The latest incident of mass stranding prior to an earthquake. A mass stranding of whales. Okay, here's another one. The report from the Mirror points out at the sum of 170 whales were stranded in Australia and New Zealand prior to the devastating 2004 quake that struck in the Indian Ocean, which resulted in a tsunami that claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands throughout the region. At the time, Indian professor Dr. Akram Krumer, excuse me for ruining your name, suspected a relationship between the two events. 3 weeks before the tsunami, he was alerted to the whale's death and wrote, "It is my observation, confirmed over the years, that mass suicide of whales and dolphins that occur sporadically all over the world are in some way related to the change of disturbance in the electromagnetic field, coordinates, and possible real alignment of geotectonic plates, therefore. In other words, he's saying that the plates are moving and it's throwing off their electrical ability to function. I would not be surprised if within a few days a mass quake hits some part of the globe. I would not be surprised if within a few days a mass quake hits some part of the globe. Scientists are currently speculating that the cause of death of the New Zealand pilot whales is due to the sound reverberation in shallow waters. Well, of course, that's what the science will say. They're not going to step into the other realm of reality. That's how they are. Let's move on here and see what else is being said. Okay, he's pointing out the same thing I just highlighted. It would not be surprised if within a few days a mass quake hits some part of the globe. Okay, in other words, if there was a giant bunch of whales that fall to death, that there wouldn't be a quake to follow. As a heads up, be safe. So what he's saying there, okay, well, let's move on. But what he's saying there, there's a possibility there may be a major quake in California. All right, let me stop this. The yellow line represents the 10 million miles Ison has traveled in one day. From here to here to the tip of his point, it's traveled 10 million miles. Okay, November 28th to the 28th to the 29th. The visible part of Ison's tail has spread half this distance, or 5 million miles, in one day. Okay, half the distance. All right, let's move on. Here's the caution. If this rate of spread continues, it will have fanned out by December 28th, closest approach to the Earth. December 28th will be the closest approach to the Earth, to 150 million miles. 5 million miles of spread per day. If the piece of the nucleus had remained intact, it would have been scheduled to pass 41 million miles over the Earth on this date. Do you understand what he's saying here, friends? What he's saying, if it would have stayed intact, it would not have spread out this much. But now it's going to fan out to 150 million mile span. And it's going to pass within 41 million miles of Earth. Do you see what's happening? Earth will be hit. Earth will be struck by the debris of Comet Ison. That is what's being said here, friends. Plain and simple. Heads up on this. So we've got a possible earthquake because of the whale activity, whale and sea life and whatnot there in California. Because if you look at the phenomena that happened to the New Zealand thing and then the great tsunami, that in the past that the whales and stuff has shown us a sign of their passing, that things weren't right because of the structure of the plates on the Earth. Now we have this great Comet Ison coming with a span of 150 million miles, okay? And it's going to be 41 million miles over the Earth. So it doesn't take much arithmetic to figure that our Earth is going to be completely engulfed with this fanning out as it passes by. God bless. Heads up. Hey, get well. Get well, my friend Jesse. And let's pray. Keep the Lord in your heart. God bless you. The Old Marine Vaughn. On December the 2nd, 2013. You realize that's only a few days from now, the 28th, friends? let's keep our prayers, keep our hearts right, friends. Bye-bye. God bless. Hug the kids, hug the wife.